Hey folks, another quick update here for Celebration Weekend. Hopefully I'm not covering up the microphone there. Um, so we're on day 2 of Celebration, day 3 of the overall trip. Um, Definitely a better day than yesterday, though again, valedictorian of summer school in that sense. Um, I gotta say, it seemed like the experience inside, once we were inside, was about on par today with yesterday, with the exception of not running into the whole issue that they had with the Thrawn books. Um, and yet the days seemed night and day different between today and yesterday. With the biggest difference, of course, being that mess yesterday morning with everything about getting people in the door in the first place. Um, it definitely seems as though, in a lot of ways, the day was sort of set, or the stage for either day was set by whatever was the most impactful event. The most impactful thing yesterday, unfortunately, was that. It was not meeting Wendig and getting something signed. It was not meeting Zahn and getting something signed or anything like that. It was the 2.5 hours standing around and then tons of people behind you getting in well before, and everybody who was still sitting in line being screwed and all that. Reed Pop apparently got their asses reamed by Disney. Um, their contract was already coming up to be done for the Disney celebrations anyway, so it looks like they're pretty much going to be done as expected. Um, but they certainly did a much better job this morning. By the time we got here, everything was cleared out. Some folks who had come in earlier said they got in much more quickly, depending on which of the multiple doors this time they could get through. This time they actually did do a security check on our bags, believe it or not. They did not do that yesterday. They pretty much gave up by about apparently 10 o'clock yesterday. Just said, screw it, come on in. We're not actually going to check your bags because we already screwed up the timing anyway. Um, Today was a big one in the sense that we got a chance to get some more stuff signed, but this time a little more personal stuff. People that I'd had a chance to either work with or know before. So we got there and immediately went to get a signing. Actually, we're first in line for a signing with John Jackson Miller. John and I had worked previously together when he was getting ready for a big event and was going to be some X-Wing gaming at the time, and wanted to have an X-Wing scenario based on a New Dawn that could be used at that event. He asked my buddy Keith, who works with Fantasy Flight, hey, do you know anybody who could do this? And he reached out to me, and sure enough, we wound up developing a scenario called Dying is Never a Plan, based on a New Dawn that could use existing, at the time, X-Wing ships and whatnot. So I took a copy of that thing that we worked up together, that X-Wing scenario, unofficial completely. I printed it out on some cardstock, and he signed that, signed a paperback of A New Dawn, signed my original hardback of A New Dawn, and signed the Rise of the Empire Omnibus edition. We then got a chance to eat, kind of hang out a little bit, wound up by accident getting into the Warwick Davis panel. We did not show up early enough to try to get any wristbands or anything like that, which, by the way, was tied into Thrawn. There was a point at which they actually found some more of those Celebration exclusive Thrawn copies, and apparently we're doing some kind of wristband thing to make people able to still get them before those disappeared. But I wasn't following that very closely because I managed to take care of that stuff yesterday. But let's see. So we got a chance to go into the Warwick Davis panel because as we just happened to be checking out the third level, the various stages and whatnot, they had people out kind of like carnival barkers saying, hey, you know, the upper balcony is open for the celebration stage if you want to see Small Talk with Warwick Davis. My wife had a chance to say hello to him yesterday and thought it'd be kind of a fun thing to do. We had talked about it before, just didn't think we'd get in because we didn't think we'd get some wristbands, and sure enough, we got in anyway. Definitely a fun experience seeing that, after which we were able to go over to the DK booth, and slightly early, we're able to get a copy of Complete Locations signed by one of its authors, and had a chance to get some stuff signed by Jason Fry, who I had a chance to work with when he and Dan Wallace were working on the Essential Atlas, and I put together a bunch of those dated battle map type dates and whatnot for them. So we had kind of a working relationship before, first time getting able to actually see him and say hello. We got, let's see, one of his younger reader books, or actually a couple of them signed, including the Star Wars biographies Darth Vader book that came out recently, and it turns out that's the first time he has ever signed that one. In fact, he may not actually have seen a copy the way he said it. I think he's saying it said a copy to be signed. Then joined the line because shortly thereafter, Pablo Hidalgo arrived to begin signing. He started signing about 20 minutes early because it was a pretty large line. Got a chance to say hello to him, have a quick conversation after he had referenced my timeline as a great chronology resource and whatnot when he was doing the Essential Reader's Companion. He signed a copy of that for me, signed a shirt for my wife. She brought a shirt with her. And the funny thing, of course, was this moment where, as I said, this is my wife, Jody, and she'd like you to sign her shirt. And his eyes get real big. That she's holding, not that she's wearing. And then, yeah, the shock went away. We headed over from there then back to the hotel to get ready because then we had the Star Wars Report meetup for all the Star Wars Report podcasts, Star Wars Beyond the Films, Cloud City Casino that I'm involved with, Wampa's Lair, Star Wars Report, etc., etc. Anybody who could get there, which was at 5 o'clock at Tutu Tango, which is basically right across the street from the hotel here. Just got a chance to hang out with some folks, got to meet actually quite a few listeners throughout the day today. Daniel, excuse me, about to choke there. Daniel Contreras, got to meet with David Motters, quite a few people throughout the day. Got to finally meet Bruce Gibson, finally meet Bethany Blanton. I'd met Riley before, which is odd because we all live in the Atlanta area and we hadn't met before. Got to meet the guys, Carl and Jason from Wampa's Lair, so it's just a nice chance to all kind of get together, meet with listeners, which is pretty cool, and then headed out. And that pretty much wrapped up the day. But it was definitely a day that was defined by the more impactful things. Getting to meet with listeners, getting to meet Pablo for the first time after having had conversations with him before, getting to meet Jason for the first time, same scenario, getting to meet John for the first time, same kind of scenario. Rather than it being defined by signings from people that I hadn't really had a connection with, so it was just about the signing, which then was able to be overshadowed by the mess of yesterday morning. Still not thinking we'll do another celebration. If we do, maybe not anytime soon. I'm being told that yesterday's mess up in the morning was the worst that most of my multi-celebration friends have seen. So maybe, that's not something I'd run into doing it again. But again, from a cost standpoint, it's an experience that I'm sure that we both think is fantastic to have been able to go through once. Whether or not we'll want to do it again is really going to come down to sort of getting a good measure at the end of basically cost-benefit analysis. It's been great to get stuff signed and meet people and talk to people, but we could also do that at Dragon Con, which is in Atlanta, right near us. It comes down to the exclusive experience of the Star Wars stuff, and really to a large extent, a lot of the exclusive, go on the Celebration Galaxy stage or the Celebration stage to see these people, aside from Warwick Davis, getting in to see that one. Most of that is stuff that even being here, we would wind up just watching streaming online later, like the teaser for The Last Jedi. We saw that online, streaming on YouTube when we got back to the hotel. We didn't see it while we were there. In fact, I would say that those who are watching at home live stream are getting more of the exclusive Star Wars-y celebration experience through the live streaming than those who are here. Those who are here are getting more of the dealer room experience, the meet and greet type of experience, and just the community feel experience. And to me, that can be also had elsewhere. So we'll see how it turns out. Definitely a better mood coming out of today than yesterday. Though yesterday, I still think in the morning that was pretty unexcusable. But they've played their mea culpa, and it looks like they got chewed out, and it's about all you can ask for, really. You could ask for competence ahead of time, but once something's actually happened, all you can ask is that there's an apology and that they do it better and that those responsible take responsibility, and all those things happened. So there's not really a whole lot more that we can ask for, and now it's just a matter of moving on beyond that mess. And today was certainly decent. Tomorrow we're going to be aiming for the Ahsoka signing to try to get a shirt signed for my wife, get a book signed for me. Beyond that, nothing really locked down for tomorrow. And then on Sunday, we have Michael's panel for the collecting track. And then we have the Star Wars Report live show, 2 to 3. I will be there as well. That will be May 16th, which is the 15th anniversary of Attack of the Clones, and as such, the 15th anniversary of my time in Star Wars podcasting. So it should be pretty cool to be there with Riley and the team. And then that should be close to wrapping us up as we head home on Monday. Thank you for your interest in this experience. I'll give you much more detail and a better breakdown once I'm able to sit down, digest all this, and put together and vlog episode or something like that once we get back.